guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something I did before but a little different. So I did this a little while ago. I read 1-star reviews of my favorite books, and now we're going to go back and we're going to read 5-star reviews of some of my favorite books. So I think we're going to do about like 5-ish, maybe 5 to 10. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so let's get into it. I also wanted to mention that if you see anything like shiny on like this arm, I just got a new tattoo with my best friend yesterday, so just a little close up on that. It's just really cool. So anyway, let's get into it. So the first one we're gonna do is one that came out more recently. It's called Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And I think it came out like last year, the year before, but I read it this year. It was really, really, really good. I did really love it. The first one was just so good. There's like literally no notes at all. But yeah, so as I'm reading these reviews before I read them to you, I'm noticing that a lot of them are a little longer than the 1-star reviews were, so I'm just gonna read like a part of it. But yeah, so Divine Rivals. So this first one I see here is, this one is 5-star review, as all of these will be. What I love most about being a reader, being reminded that simple ink on paper can quite literally change your life and perspective on things. So, which is really true to this book. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in it, and I really think that like resonates with that. This next one, same book. Did I finish the book, or did the book finish me? Which, I mean, honestly, academic rivals to lovers with the cutest, purest, most wholesome man there is, violent or raging between gods, absolutely perfection. So yeah, as you can see, this Divine Rivals is really, really good. I highly suggest it if you're into, this is like more of like, there's a war going on, but if you're into like magical like stuff and war between gods and crap, it's really, really good. I do highly suggest it. So this next one I'm gonna read some reviews about is from the selection, and this is gonna be the book 1, not the whole thing. And this is by Kiera Cass. I have another one of her books I mentioned in my last video that I was gonna start reading, but I decided to read Fourth Wing instead because I was really interested in that one. And let me put a pause on this right now. Fourth Wing, so far, I have about like 200 pages left. Absolutely love it. I am completely obsessed with this book so far. And I'm so excited to read the next one, like immediately after I finish this. It's gonna be so good. But anyway, so this first one here says, the selection was one of the best books I've ever read. I don't think I quite expected that once I flipped the first page and I couldn't stop, but guess what happened? I am constantly thinking about this book, and I am 100% in wow mode. Everything about this book I absolutely love, and I have no freaking clue how I'm going to wait more than a year for the second book to come out. Such torture. So this one is obviously written when the book came out, so it was written in 2012. But I mean, honestly, I read this whole series in like a week. I just couldn't put it down. I just had to keep reading. It was that good. So this next one says, I don't usually go for books like this one with the whole princess competition thing going on. Actually, I've never started one because they don't look good, but let me tell you, this book is amazing. So for those who don't know, actually what the selection is, it's basically like The Bachelorette, kind of, but I've never seen that show, but I believe it is very similar to that concept. So there's like a competition, and it focuses on one of the girls in the competition to be the next queen of the thing, queen of the kingdom. Alright, this is the last one I'm going to read for this one, and then we'll move on to the next one. I can never ever get enough of this series. To start off, I will say that I like this book more than I thought I would. I was originally looking for a book for a reading challenge. It needed blue covers, and just happened to see this at the library and figured it didn't look too bad and that I would just read it since nothing else is working. I have now read this 4 times since it came out. It has yet to tire for me. So this was written in 2020, so even like that far, like between when it came out to 2020, like, people are still, like, raving about this series, about how amazing it is, and it is YA, but it is also, like, super, super good. So this next one, I read a few years ago, but I still really like it because it is one of my favorite authors of all time. It is Confessions of a Murder Suspect by James Patterson, and I absolutely love James Patterson. I believe I've said this before, but his writing style is so good, and just, like, the way that he, like, plans out his books and stuff, like the chapter lengths, like, sometimes the chapters are literally like a sentence long, but it is just so interesting to read it that way, and it makes me like feel like I'm reading it like faster. So I read this series like a few years ago. I believe there are 4 in the series. I have them like right over here, but they're really good. I absolutely love them. It isn't fantasy, it's more of like murder mystery type thing. So this first one says, absolutely loved it. It was by far one of the best books I have read. This next one says, I have so many mixed feelings about this book. From the start, I was so intrigued because the main character herself was unaware of her own innocence, but that made sense and was completely explained in just a few chapters. The further I read, the more convoluted things got and more twisted everyone became. Everyone looked like a suspect, but if you read enough murder mystery stories, it is admittedly pretty easy to step outside the box and guess what happened. And then we'll just read this last one. It says, excuse me, I was definitely not expecting what happened. I practically stayed up all night to finish reading. Since this is my first James Patterson book and I loved it, I'll be sure to read more. Characters were written well, and I'm very excited to see what the next adventure with the angels will be like. So this was written in 22, but I believe this series finished a little while before that. But anyway, so yeah. Alright, we'll do one more and then we'll call it. So this last one we're gonna do is called The Fine Print, and this one is by Lauren Asher. And this series, if you don't know, there are 3 in the series, and the last one came out, I believe, last year. So it's about these 3 brothers. They basically own Disneyland, and they are trying to do their part of the will to get like what they are supposed to be given from the will of their father, I believe, who owned the park. So they each get like shares, depending on if they do like these kind of trials, I guess. It's kind of similar, now that I think about it, to the Hawthorne, the inheritance games. It's kind of similar to that, but more like grown-up feeling, I guess. So this first one says, The Fine Print is the first book in Lauren Asher's new Dreamland Billionaire series, and it was magical. This book is a billionaire workplace with a grumpy sunshine trope, and it was incredible. This other one that says, Obsessed doesn't even begin to cover my feelings. The way I had butterflies throughout the entire book, it's just like, it's just so good. And then this last one I'll read here is, well, this book was a bit of me. I absolutely loved it. It's a grumpy sunshine trope workplace, all set in a theme park, which any Disney fan would just love. So if you're into Disney, if you're into like different like trial type things, I definitely like recommend this. It's not very much like trials, they're just like they have to do their part in order to get their share of the park from their father, grandfather, I don't really remember. But yeah, it's really, really good, so I highly recommend that series if you are looking for something new. That will bring us to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have read any of these books I mentioned in this video, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!